And welcome into the Gary Ayd Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Online at cavetalkradio.com and the Cave Talk Radio app, Apple CarPlay, and of course Facebook and YouTube Live. Great to have you aboard. Gary Ayd, Rich Anselmo. And we got quite a bit to get to today. Some more baseball hot stove. The night that was in the association, local battle. Knicks and Nets. We'll break that down. And, of course, we have Thursday Night Football, radio question of the day, news you can use, the top five, all kinds of good stuff right here on the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave. Great to have you aboard. Now, as far as today's opening rant, I'm disappointed in the fact that the Nets seemingly didn't hire Udoka because of public pressure. Certainly last night they won, and Kevin Durant had a triple-double. They played great. We'll get to the game breakdown on the court. And certainly Jacques Vaughn is not a bad coach by any stretch. But this reminds me of another time when a New York sports team that was at the time pretty close to a win-now situation decided to punt for the future. And that cost them 8 years of ineptitude, one lucky break in 2015, and then another handful of years of ineptitude before finally deciding, let's play for now. And then, of course, they ended up winning 100-plus games, disappointing playoffs this year. I'm referencing the New York Mets. This reminds me of when they hired Terry Collins back in like the 2008, 2009 timeframe, somewhere around there. And it was known at the time that this guy was just a warm body place sitter, but he stayed there for almost a decade. He got lucky 1 year with Daniel Murphy turning into Babe Ruth and Yoenis Cespedes being Ted Williams for 2 months, and they got to the World Series before losing to the Royals. Yeah, that team, the Royals. Jacques Vaughn is Terry Collins. He is competent, not going to rock the boat. He's safe. He's quiet. He's unassuming. And he's wholly and completely uninspiring. He is absolutely peanut butter and jelly here. Nothing wrong with it, but when mom packs you peanut butter and jelly, you know it's just times are tough. Not a good lunch. Not an exciting lunch. He'll do the job. He'll be fine. It won't offend anyone. But deep down, you know you wanted at least some tacos, if not.
But I wanted liverwurst.
Right, exactly. And they had the chance to get the liverwurst, but they decided, someone might not like the smell of the liverwurst, so let's go ahead and get the peanut butter and jelly. That's what the Nets did here. And they're going to reap what they sow. They'll win some games, they'll lose some games. Jacques Vaughn will not influence the outcome of any of them. He is a just placeholder coach. Organization got gun shy. Udoka's a difference maker. Someone will sign him, and he will turn someone around, or make a good team better. He's a guy that upgrades your team a level or a half level by his presence. Jacques Vaughn is just a regular guy. He was a regular guy as a player, at least in the pros. I know he was a star in college, and he's a regular guy now as a coach. Very blah. And after all this Nets team has been through, mostly self-inflicted, you would think at this point, well, why the hell not just step on one more hot topic? Because at least we know this guy's going to deliver something pretty good. This feels like getting the ball to the 2-yard line, and then instead of going in for the touchdown and definitely ending the game, trying to milk down the clock to go for the field goal, only to have it fumble, and then you lose the ball. And then you don't win the game. That's what this feels like to me. Now, of course, obviously, a lot of what I'm talking about is projection at this point because, it's just happened. But that's how I feel. I always try to put myself in the shoes of, if I rooted for this team, how would I feel today? And I would feel like we copped out a little bit, like we wussed out. I would feel like we, or we got cold feet. That's how I would feel if I was a Net fan. And a lot of them will publicly say they're for this because Udoka is this, that, the other thing. People are always virtuous until it affects them. They don't give a crap. They're always virtuous until they have to act in virtue. It's easy to be a keyboard tough guy. Most of these people don't live up to that, though. And I'm just disappointed. And so this is like, at least though, at least as we get in the comments here, it wasn't Jeff's Saturday. It's not like they went and hired some high school football coach and we're like, yeah, you're the guy.
Yeah, I think you're slagging Jack Vaughn a little too.
He's just a guy. I'm not slagging him at all. He's just a blah coach.
So this is 2,000% the Nets' fault, right?
Oh, it is.
No, it isn't.
Sure it is.
Your boy Silver never gets mentioned as being culpable for anything when he pushed this to them.
But he doesn't sign the checks. This is ultimately comes down to Joe Tsai.
He pushed it to them.
If Joe Tsai says no, we're hiring him anyway.
Well,
then that's
on Joe Tsai.
That's what I mean. Ultimately, the buck stops with the organization. The league
stops with your commissioner, who had no business interfering in this because it was not a league
But
issue.
this wasn't David Stern saying no to the Chris Paul trade. This was Adam Silver saying, I don't think you should do this. Joe Tsai
was a little stronger than that.
I really don't want you to do this. The hell with you, Adam. I'm doing it anyway. Then what? Then if Adam Silver said no, then I would agree with you. But it's a lack of backbone by an organization that has constantly screwed everything up. And
I think there are more shades of gray in this black and white issue.
I don't think so. Sure, Silver pushed to avoid this guy being hired. And
Silver did not want him hired.
That's fine. But Tsai didn't say, I don't care what you want. I'm hiring him anyway because he's the best guy for my team. And that's what he should have said.
You don't know what the conversations were. Neither do I.
If Tsai did that, Udoka would be the coach right now. I don't have to be in the room to know that.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Because then you're just speculating.
Oh, it's not speculation. If the owner of a team, if the owner of a team wants something, that's what they get. The owners they hire Silver, not the other way around. They're his bosses. They pay his salary. So 100% Tsai would get what he wanted if he pushed for it. Now, if you're just going to be a beta and just cop out and just let the commissioner tell you what to do, that's fine. But that's why this organization is not going anywhere. You think if Mark...
We have no idea how much he pushed.
You think if Mark Cuban wanted to hire Udoka and David Stern said no, Mark Cuban wouldn't go and do it anyway and pay the fine? He did that 500 times. They made a joke about it. He asked David Stern to fine him one more time before Stern retired. That's a real owner. This guy's a wuss. And he deserves what he's going to get, which is just blah. He's going to get Terry Collins. Jacques Vaughn's not going to be bad. They're going to win some games. They're going to be like, oh, cool. Okay. Everything's nice and calm. But there's an absolute ceiling to what a coach like that is going to achieve. And if this was the Nets in 2018, okay, they weren't there. The expectations were, well, it's cool if we make the playoffs. That is not what they built here. They will tell you that. I mean, they didn't go through all this Kyrie drama, all this KD drama, sit KD for a year with an injury knowingly to, maybe make the playoffs and win maybe one series. That wasn't what they were going for. And they weren't going to achieve anything more than that before this. They had a chance to bring in a real difference maker, and they chose not to. And that's weak. It's weak. And
I also disagree with Silver butting in at all.
Well, I don't agree with.
Suspension was not a league issue.
I don't agree. No, I agree with you on that 100%. But ultimately, I put the responsibility on Tsai to tell commissioner to butt out. And I'm doing what I want for my franchise. And if you want to make a deal of it, go make a deal of it. But it's going to be public. And then
I think with all the deals that have been made with the Nets right now, no one really wanted that.
Well, then they don't want to win. Then they just wanted safe instead of the best. So then blow it up, trade Kevin Durant, trade Kyrie Irving, and get some blah players. Bring in Lauri Markkanen. It's going good for the Jazz, right? They're 9-3. Let's trade Kevin Durant.
Lauri Markkanen's playing his face off.
He is. Okay, so you can have Lauri Markkanen. I'll take Kevin Durant. As much as I don't like Kevin Durant, I'll take Kevin Durant over Lauri Markkanen.
I don't
Look,
think Kevin Durant's the one that's going to go.
well, trade everybody. All you
I
want
think
is
Kyrie
safe.
is.
You want safe, right? Kevin Durant's not safe. He's got burner
Okay,
accounts.
now you're going to this extreme with this
Well,
safe stuff.
well, that's what's going to happen. Because what's going to happen, it's going to take a little while. It's not going to happen tomorrow. But what's going to happen is you're going to have a misalignment of the coaching staff and the players, because these are win now players with drama. And this is a coach who is a placeholder, not a win now coach. And what's going to end up happening is you're not going to achieve what you want, and you're going to blow it up and start again anyway. It's going to happen.
How do you know?
Oh, because I have a crystal ball.
Wait, let me finish my question. Please. How do you know that, Vaughn is a placeholder until this suspension is up and they go after Udoka?
It's not their
Maybe
suspension.
It's a battle they did not want to have now.
It's not their suspension. And they're not in the position to punt a year to honor some other team's suspension, let alone a rival team. I mean, this isn't like this is the Kings or some other West Coast team where it's like whatever. This is a team that you're likely going to have to beat in the playoffs. And I would like to have the guy who might have some insight into how best to do that and how to get under their skin, because he's the guy that figured out how to make them avoid getting under each other's skin just a year ago. I want that guy on my team right now if I'm the Nets specifically, because if I have to play the Celtics in the first round of the playoffs, I want every advantage I can get. They're not in the position to punt a year.
Oh, that's nice thinking you're going to go to the playoffs.
Well, they would with Udoka. I don't know that they're going to go now. I think they were going to be an 8 seed probably. They
probably would go to the playoffs with Udoka, yeah.
So, and I think they'll probably get there now, but I think they'll have no chance of winning. I think that ultimately they're going to be an 8 seed, maybe a 9 seed, and there's a good chance they're going to play the Celtics in the first round because of that. Because there's a good chance the Celtics are going to be a 1 or a 2.
If this Kyrie mess doesn't happen, do you think the Nets go after Udoka? If they didn't have everything else they were dealing with?
I'm 50-50 on that. Because I just think they've shown themselves to be weak and wimpy. So I don't know. I think there's maybe, but maybe not. I have zero respect for their backbone at this point. So I'm going to err on the side of no. I think they would still wuss out. I think they're a wimpy organization and they're going to get what they deserve. Yeah, Vaughn did great in Orlando. Yeah, along with everyone else. That's not his fault. I
count that.
That's like saying he did great in Sacramento. Like that's not his fault. Like, but that works both ways. When Sacramento hired Luke Walton and thought he was this great coach because he won 33 out of 35 games with the Warriors, I remember saying at the time, yeah, Toby could have done that. Like, it works both ways. You don't get credit for something you had nothing to do with, nor do you get blamed for something you can't fix.
Right.
But
Walton's situation in Golden State was something he walked into.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Of course, Kerr was out with the back injury and he was pinch hitting basically. And they were just,
it's not something he built.
No. And nor did it take any coaching to get that team to play well. There was right in the middle of all their primes. And that was like, they honestly could have tried it out there without a coach probably and won most of those games. They were like that good that year. But I don't know.
Iguodala would have been the coach.
Right. Iguodala, Sean Livingston. Draymond Green would say he was the coach. Oh, no, he would scream he was the coach.
They would let him just to let it go.
Yeah, just scream away, Draymond. That's fine. It's I don't know. If I'm the Nets today, I'm disappointed. Personally, I love it because I like watching this team burn. I don't like this team at all. I know you don't. So that's fine with me. But if I'm a fan of this team, I'm pissed off today. That's how I'm feeling. I feel like we copped out. We had the money in our wallet to go buy the Lamborghini, and we bought a Buick instead.
Ugh.
And that's how I feel today. So. Anyway, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll do the question of the day. We'll get to NBA scores from last night, including the Nets, who did play well last night. Kevin Durant led the way with a triple-double over the Knicks. Not an impressive win by any stretch, but certainly they played well, so we'll talk about that. We got the NFL Thursday Night Football, of course, top 5. A lot to get to. Just getting started. It's the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. That's 800-370-2460.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. That's 800-649-8617.
All right, we're back. Gary Ayd and Rich Anselmo. And so, of course, we got the radio question of the day. But before we get to that, I feel it's fitting to do this now since we just spent the last 20 minutes on the Nets. They played very well last night. Kevin Durant with a 29-point triple-double. They beat the Knicks. Good for them. A lot of people do that. But, hey, a win's a win is a win. They all count. They all count as one. So the Nets got one last night. Jacques Vaughn, no doubt, was very happy. And there you go. So congratulations. Time to retire. Quit while you're ahead.
112-85 is a nice win.
That is a nice win. It is. Yep. And Durant was great in this game. We'll see, how they play the next couple of games. I know they got who they got coming up next. They're 4-7 now. 5-7 after last night's win. The Nets are, after being the Knicks last night. TJ Warren is out with an injury. So he's still on the shelf. He should help when they get him back. 5-7 right now. They're 11th in the East in the early going. And
they got a couple days to think about all this though, because they do not play
until was it Saturday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Sean Marks wouldn't talk about
the Clippers.
Okay, they have something to think about. They played great against the Lakers last night. Of course, LeBron James got hurt.
LeBron got hurt late in the game.
Yeah, no, that wasn't the reason the Lakers lost. I was just making note of the fact that it happened.
The Lakers looked to me to just be bold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
LeBron, you have said it, and I have agreed. Through most of LeBron's career, he could take four ordinary players and make the playoffs.
Yep.
Not necessarily win a title.
Right.
He could get you a long way.
Right.
LeBron in his 20th year can't do that anymore.
Right. Yep.
He needs AD to do some of the heavy lifting, and it's not happening.
No, I know.
And they looked a step behind the Clippers all night, who weren't that sharp.
No, really, the Clippers were led and paced, I thought, by Paul George and John Wall. John Wall was absolutely awesome last night.
Mm-hmm. And Paul George was Paul George.
Yes, well, that's what you expect from someone of that caliber. He's just a great player. But yes,
in watching that game, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, the guy didn't have like a spectacular game, but man, the Lakers could use a Luke Kennard.
It'll be
really use him.
It will be interesting when Dennis Schroeder comes back from his injury, which is due pretty soon. What type of impact if any, he can bring as another guy who can put some points on the board.
I never considered him to be a knockdown shooter, though.
Oh, he's not. He's not the same style of player as Luke Kennard, but he's a guy who can create his own shot, who can get to the rim, who can make plays. When he gets hot, he can give you a good scoring night. So, and yeah, they're grasping at straws right now. I mean, they don't have the necessary roster to compete if Davis isn't going to be an MVP-like performer. That's what they need. If Davis could play that way, you would start seeing this team rattle off some wins. If Davis isn't going to play that way, they're heading straight for the basement.
And the numbers look good for AD, 21-9.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, Zubats got inside him when he needed to. Paul George drove on him all day with little resistance. That's the heavy lifting Davis is not doing.
Well, that's where you're not.
LeBron
exactly.
needs him to do.
Right. I mean, it's one thing to score, but like you're absolutely right. Davis, when he was his best, was more of a force and more of an energizer on defense than offense.
Yes.
I haven't seen Davis block a shot. It feels like in forever. I'm sure he has. But
he
like
had one last night.
But like it just
one?
Yeah.
Paul
Like
George had more.
he's not altering shots. He's not, to your point, making teams go away from the basket. He's not starting breaks as a result of his defense. And these are all things in 2020 he did on a regular basis. And it's why people talked about him maybe being the MVP of the team and not LeBron. It was a true two-headed monster. There were debates, arguments to be made on both sides. Now, Davis, yeah, he gets his 20 points, his 8 or 10 rebounds, and then, you know, it's kind of like you feel like he's mailing it in.
Oh, yeah.
That's
too good to be playing like this.
Right. Yeah, his numbers look okay. If you're not paying attention, you're not watching the games, you don't know what he's done in the past, then sure, it looks fine. But if you know any of that stuff, you know damn well it's not fine. And I gotta give some credit here to Russell Westbrook. He looks really good in his role off the bench, and he continues to accept and excel in that position. He threw a couple of really nice lobs. He had one bad turnover, but it was more, I think, the fact that Nunn wasn't looking. Westbrook made this jump pass. He pulled up for what looked like an 18-footer, and Nunn had inadvertently, and I think unwittingly to himself, slipped the man and pretty much had the rim in front of him. Westbrook saw him and threw the ball right in front of him, and Nunn wasn't looking and went out of bounds. Miscommunication. But Westbrook is the one bright spot right now to me when I watch this team. Him coming off the bench, he's doing a very good job of it. But man, Davis just doesn't bring you any energy. And so what happens is the Lakers went on a nice run in the late second quarter of this game.
Right.
They brought it to within, he was either tied or a 2-point game at halftime. They were down at one point by almost 20. So
It was a 2-point game at halftime.
It was a 2-point game at halftime. It was 48-46. And that was sparked by a handful of good defensive plays and a bunch of role players knocking down threes. And the problem is the Lakers at no point this season have sustained either of those things for any appreciable amount of time. Role players hitting open shots or defensive energy creating easy offense. Those things happen in random spurts for this team. And in those random spurts, they look a million times better. But they don't do it enough.
But the same Westbrook that really was energized that second quarter run.
Yep.
When he came in that third quarter, allowed the Clippers to open up the game because he bricked 3 straight shots.
Yep.
He had a bad turnover.
Yep.
He missed a couple of open people. So what you're getting with him is not great. He's contributing and doing some nice things, but he still has that Jekyll and Hyde about him. And I think it's going to take him a little time to truly feel comfortable in this role.
And I think
this is a guy that's used to starting all his life.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. There's no question there's an adjustment period. And I also think in addition to that, that whole Jekyll and Hyde thing you're talking about is a culture permeating around this team right now that I think more or less emanates from Davis. Because
you know how I feel.
The thing about
I do not disagree with you at all.
No, I mean, this is your take originally, and you're absolutely right. And I mean, the thing about LeBron is one thing about him, James Harden, Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, those guys always come to play. Maybe they don't have their best game every night, but they give you their best every night. And I have no question LeBron's still doing that. But
he scored 30 on 22 shots.
right.
Now,
right.
he talked after the game about getting banged up inside all the time, but you took almost half your shots from 3.
Right.
You're not going inside as much, and it's not a criticism. I understand why.
Yeah, he's in year 20.
Right. He can't be expected to do that for 42 minutes a night.
No.
Not anymore.
It's insane to think that anyone would even think that. But that's just the level of expectation he's established for himself for so many years.
Right.
And we've never
Father Time might get the old pair of sneakers, but he's still undefeated.
That's right. Absolutely.
Those commercials are great, by the way.
I was always more of a Real Men of Genius guy, but hey, those are good commercials too. Remember those old Men of Genius commercials?
I haven't seen those in so long.
Oh, they were awesome.
Oh.
I was totally about that. They were more of like a radio commercial. All right, let's hit a quick break. We'll come back. We got more to get to. We got to talk some radio question of the day. We got news you can use. Of course, we got Thursday Night Football. Question of the day is next. It's the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
The English Institute of Sport is tracking symptoms. I am KO. Back in a minute with your sports question of the day.
You've been working hard, doing the right thing, and paying your taxes, and putting your hard-earned money in the Medicare piggy bank all your life. And now it's time to break the piggy bank and get something back. Medicare. If you didn't know it, Medicare is health insurance for people over 65, and you've paid for it with your tax dollars. Medicare plans now have more benefits than ever. That's good news, especially if you're like me and looking forward to paying as little as possible for good health insurance. Call and find out what Medicare plan is best for you. Save your time. It's valuable. We've already done the research for you, and in one quick phone call, you can learn how to get the best Medicare plan designed exactly for you. Hey, it's one of the most important decisions in your life. Let us help you through it. Here's our number. Call 65 Plus Medicare now at 855-301-5506, 855-301-5506. That's 855-301-5506.
The English Institute of Sport has begun studying hormone levels in female athletes in a bid to better understand how those hormones affect training. Study co-lead Dr. Richard Burden cited one study on female rugby players, telling The Guardian 93% of players reported cycle-related symptoms, and 67% thought those symptoms affected their athletic performance. He said, if they don't have a healthy cycle, it means for whatever reason, something's not quite right. Question: have you or have you not experienced decreased athleticism due to hormonal imbalance?
This is not a question for us to answer. This is just, I've suffered decreased athleticism. It's from weight gain. This is not a question I'm even going to attempt to answer. We don't know.
Well, I'll make a pass at it. I'll make a pass at it. Ultimately, this just reminds us that men and women are different, and we should not put men and women's sports. How about that? This is a good scientific reminder.
But this has nothing to do with men or in women's.
Well, it doesn't.
This is about women athletes.
Right. It's about women athletes.
It doesn't say they're competing with men.
No, it doesn't. But this is why we have separate sports for men and women. These are issues that men don't necessarily face the same way. And consequently, we should not be having co-ed athletic endeavors. So I'll take the opportunity with this question to hammer home the insanity of that line of thought. But as far as answering it, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's the case. I mean, hell, when men are not well, they don't play well either. And if you're not well chemically in your body, of course you wouldn't play as well. That just makes logical sense. Whether it's hormones, a fever, some kind of illness. I mean, anything that's not chemically right in your body is going to affect your physical performance in any task, whether it's sports or otherwise. So that makes perfect sense.
I can't do my job the same way when I have a migraine.
That's right. Yeah, that makes total sense. Or when I don't have enough coffee, that I need
Well,
those
that's-
chemicals. Those are my hormones. Noble coffee for the hormonal win. Let's go. Free plug right
Gary
there.
setting up a coffee IV in the background for the break.
Absolutely. Yeah, why not? By the way, speaking of coffee, I tried some Dunkin' holiday blends today. Was not a fan. Very sour.
What was the flavor?
It was just I just got it black with some stevia. That's how I drink my coffee these days.
No, I mean, what was the coffee?
It was the
flavor?
holiday. It was called the holiday blend. I don't know exactly what constitutes it. I know Starbucks makes their own holiday blend during this time of year too, which I absolutely love. I buy a bag
Usually
of that.
they're flavored. It might have a peppermint aftertaste.
Oh no, it wasn't flavored. It was just like a medium roast of some kind. I guess
That's odd. That's really odd.
yeah. I mean, Starbucks' holiday flavored holiday coffee is a dark roast, with I think a tiny bit of cocoa in it. But
Starbucks holiday coffee is the bomb.
it's the bomb. I buy a bag of it every year.
I do too.
It's really good. I even like the packaging. It's the red or green packaging. They do a good job with it. This was disappointing. As far as let's go into back to basketball for a second. As far as the Knicks, we talked about the Nets side of this. What's wrong with this team? Because like you watch this team and like there's a lot of things you like. I mean, Brunson's played well. You know, Rose continues to do well in his role off the bench. But you just feel that like every game, it's almost like a leak. Every game, it's like, okay, we plug this one and then like the other one pops open. Like there's just always something with this team. In this game, it was their defense. They couldn't do anything to slow down the Nets shooting. In other games, it's been their offense. Other times it's been, their bench. Sometimes it's been their starters. Like that's why I'm asking what's wrong with this team. Cause it's unlike the Lakers, where you can pinpoint a consistent chronic problem or two.
Right.
Every day it's something different with the Knicks. I don't know what to make of them.
It is something different, but I'm going to go back to the same point I hammer home constantly. When Julius Randle is your number one option, you cannot afford a subpar game by anyone else. And as it affects them offensively, it doubly affected them defensively yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to continue. That's not going to change until they get a true number one option.
Oh, you mean like Donovan Mitchell? Oh, wait.
Oh, that would be a good one. This team's always going to be what they are.
Yeah.
And like I said, I hate to keep hammering home that point, but
yeah, it's just weird that like, because you're right, they need a number one option, not Julius Randle. But then like on a lot of nights, that's not their problem. Like last night, that wasn't their problem. They couldn't stop anybody.
Right.
Then there's other nights where it's like they don't rebound the ball. And there's other nights still where they get a big night from their starters and the bench doesn't do anything. It just, I don't know. It just seems like there's always a week. They always forgot to tighten up the screws on one of the wheels. It's like riding around on the bike with one wheel or a car with three. Like they just like, okay, maybe we put the donut on it and we can get it to the next service station. Like it's just always feels like you're riding on a non-complete set of tires with this team.
Oh, I agree. And that is going to be a constant.
Yeah.
Because they're playing so close to having to be perfect.
That's a good point.
With your number one option.
Right.
And that's
right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You're so close to your absolute max every day.
Right.
You have no margin forever.
Or change in effort.
Right.
Well, can I touch on another game? Do we
have
time?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm watching some of this Phoenix T-Wolves game. I reach out to Nick Callow, great radio guy in the Minneapolis area. And I asked him what the problem was. Why do they look so bad? And he said he's done with the Karl Anthony Towns era. Says he's not a leader. Excuse me. He said he complains way too much and he thinks it's rubbing off on Edwards. He thinks that's stunting Edwards' growth as a player. He says Finch falls into the trap where he doesn't do anything about it when Cat starts whining at the refs instead of getting back on defense. He says he wishes Finch would send a message that those who don't give effort just lose playing time. He says he thinks it's a simple fix, but it usually doesn't work that way. And he also feels unless they turn this around fast, because Gobert was back last night and they give up 130 points. But he says he feels that Finch is gone soon if it doesn't change, and the team will just be average at best. What I saw, I don't disagree with him, and I respect his opinion, but what I saw that irritated me, the guy comes out, D'Angelo Russell stands up. Well, if a guy comes out and sits on the bench, you don't just stand up, you go in.
Right.
He didn't. So Suns are playing 5-on-4, miss a shot, get the rebound, kick it out for a 3.
Oh my God.
That's
insane.
I agree that Cat's a problem there.
Yes.
But I also found it funny in the third quarter that after Devin Booker made a shot and somebody on the T-Wolves bench was taunting him, he turned to the bench and he shouted, "Yeah, at least we play team basketball."
Oh,
wow.
Woo! Shots fired. So in other words, all those years ago, Jimmy Butler wasn't a malcontent at all. He was 4 years ahead of the curve on this.
Right.
Yep.
And this just gets worse and worse there.
Yeah,
and I didn't think as much of it. I thought, there's problems there, but I saw it with my own eyes yesterday. They're just...
See, Towns is a good example of the perils that these teams that do these youth movements face when they do hit a high talent. Now, Cat played his very first year with Kevin Garnett. It was Garnett's last year in the NBA. And you can make an argument that was Cat's best year in terms of defensive rotations, hitting his spots, protecting the rim, energy, effort, attitude, and it's been downhill since then. And the problem is not that the kids are not coachable, just that there's no one there to coach them that they're going to listen to. You need those veteran players there at that stage of their development, because now, Cat's 8 years in the league. Now it's too late. At this point, he's developed bad habits. He's a veteran in his own right. He thinks he knows everything. He's gotten paid a bunch of times. He's treated like a star. He's not going to listen at this point, even though he still has the same deficiencies.
Not listening to Chris Finch.
No, and that's what you need, those guys. Like Charles Barkley says all the time, he doesn't become the player he became without Moses Malone. Moses Malone kicked his butt and told him, "You're fat," and lose the gut. And if Moses Malone wasn't there and came 5 years later, Charles Barkley doesn't have the same career. He'll tell you that. This is why it's so important to have good veteran respected players when you are bringing in these young guys. Someone needs to teach them. I mean, like, I feel bad and he's playing great right now, but he's playing under the veil of no expectations and no media attention. I feel terrible for SGA because this is a guy who's had no guidance. Like, name a veteran player that's played there with him. There's none. It's all a bunch of, like, he's probably the one with the fake ID getting everyone else in the bars.
Well, he doesn't need it anymore.
Well, that's what I mean, right?
He's producing them for others.
Yeah. It's like, my God, these poor kids, man.
It's true. Now, fortunately, SGA is a worker.
Yes, he is. He has a different mentality. And
he really does work on his game. Towns does not.
No, some people are self-motivated, self-guided, don't need as much prodding and coaching. And SGA is one of them. Towns is.
I thought this should have been a lot easier on Towns. Getting Gobert. But it's not working because now he just doesn't pay attention.
Right.
He needed a Gobert in his third year.
Yeah, he needed him 5 years ago, right?
Yes.
Yep. That's exactly right. Because Gobert is a worker. Gobert is a guy who has turned himself into the great player he's become.
Another excellent game last night.
Yep. He's a
and his offense was strong too.
He needs to lose the Guy Fieri like bleached hair though. That just throws me off. I still haven't gotten used to that.
That kind of stuff doesn't bother me.
It just stands out.
Points, rebounds, blocks, and attitude
There we go.
concern me much more. And I like Gobert.
I'm always concerned when a guy bleaches his hair, but that's just me.
But it's done so well for Guy Fieri, hasn't it?
Well, he's got the spikes. I think the spikes are the key. Like Gobert has that flat thing going on. He needs to spike them up a little with some gel. I think that'll go a little bit better.
Need some spikes.
That's it, man. It's all about the spikes. All right, let's keep it right here because we got the top of the hour coming up in a few minutes. Let's touch on this. You got some NHL news?
Just a bit. It was a short night last night.
All right. Let's hit that real quick.
We did not have a lot. There were only 4 games. And the great thing about the 4 games were backup goalies. It was a great night for backups. All 4 winning teams started their second string goalie. Excuse me. Spencer Knight had a 40-save shutout for the Panthers. They beat the Hurricanes. Casey DeSmith got his first win of the season for the Pittsburgh. It ended their losing streak against the Capitals. Philip Gustafson earned his first win with the Minnesota Wild as a backup against Anaheim. And I saw a little bit of that game when the Clippers were in halftime. Sam Montembeault played for Montreal, and they beat Vancouver 5-2. So 4 backup goalies, 4 wins last night. And you and I discussed it on the phone yesterday, but Patrick Kane is on long-term injured reserve. He's going to miss at least 3 or 4 months, but all indications post-surgery are he will be okay.
All right, good. That's what you like to hear.
Yes.
That's a scary injury.
That is not a way I want to see anyone's career end.
That's a scary injury.
That scared me watching.
Yeah, that's scary stuff. It really is.
Yeah, that's all I got. It was a very short night, but it was nice to have 2 TNT nights. And the NBA is not doing TNT tonight. I don't understand what's going on. I know why we had 2 nights with the NHL, because Tuesday there were no NBA games.
Right. Wonder if the NBA is dodging Thursday Night Football tonight.
There's not many games tonight.
Yeah. It's true.
There's not many games tonight. Could they be? I mean, Thursday Night Football doesn't have the audience because of where it is. But there are 4 games. There's no late game.
Right.
And the only nationally televised game is the Sixers and Hawks on NBA TV. That's at 7:30 for anyone who's interested.
Yeah, last night was a pretty full night of NBA basketball. We got Thursday Night Football. We got some baseball hot stove stuff, specifically Jacob DeGrom. Some whispers and rumors about him that we'll get to. Our own Brett Van Hooser was talking about this the other day. He's one of our sales guys, works behind the scenes with us here at Cave Talk Radio. But yeah, it's interesting. Lot going on that front. Aaron Judge, of course. So this is going to be a big offseason in baseball locally. The 2 probably biggest names, definitely 2 biggest names in local baseball are both free agents at the same time.
Yes.
That's pretty interesting.
And at least with one, no clue where he's going.
Right.
I think DeGrom stays.
That's what I
think. I don't think it's wrong of DeGrom's agent to say, we're going to listen to everything.
Of
That's
course.
your job.
Right. Of course. It's going to be interesting. All right, let's hit this break. We'll come back. We'll do the top 5. We'll get to the baseball stuff.
This is all on me
This
today.
is a big one. Yes. Today, Rich was asked by one of our listeners yesterday. Scott wanted to know some good places to get some grub around sports stadiums, given how many games and places Rich has been over the years. And being the foodie he is, Scott figured correctly, Rich is a good tour guide for this. So we put him up to the task. he had the advantage of a day's notice, so he came prepared. So
And
that's
I've got
coming
3
up.
cities we're gonna go through that
Ooh.
I've been to recently
That's awesome stuff.
and give you some great,
That's good.
I think, quality choices.
Well, I trust your judgment with food. There's no
Well,
question
thank
about
you.
that.
I appreciate that.
Yes, I trust your judgment with food. All right, let's hit a
I
break.
think we've talked just as much about food offline as sports.
Oh
so
God, yeah. I mean, just last night I was in the kitchen. I was whipping up homemade tomato soup, and you're like, why would you make that from scratch? It's so easy and cheap. I said, I just like to screw around in the kitchen and see what hell I can raise. What can
and
I
it
tell
is
you?
better homemade.
It is. It came out really good, by the way.
Well, after our conversation and in between me watching games, I was online looking up Vitamix soup ads or recipes. So yeah, it's got me inspired.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it came out really good. The San Marzano tomatoes are the key. You got to have the good tomatoes.
Oh yes.
That's the key to it all. That and some good cream. There you have it. All right, let's take our break. We'll come back. We'll do the top 5 doing food today. Back after this, it's the Gary Ayd Show. You're on the Cave. Oh, baby. Yeah. Hour 2. The Gary Ayd Show. It's about to be the Rich Anselmo Food Network show. That's right. Today's top
Come on,
5.
we've talked about doing one.
We have talked about doing a food show. Absolutely. That would be a blast. Both of us big foodies. Well, today, by special request, courtesy of Scott in West Virginia, asking Rich, what are the best food places around games? Scott tries to get to a lot of games. Rich goes to a ton of games. So we figured, well, let's put him up to the task. So without further ado, Jack George on the obligatory intro for the top 5, Food Network style.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time for King Talk Radio's Top 5.
There we have it. The floor is yours, Rich. What do we got?
Okay. I'm going to do 3 cities and a few in each, then we can rank them.
All right. If I run up to grab my coffee cup, I lost a little bit of time on the break. But hey, I will be here. I got to hear this. What do we got?
Let's start in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Right across the street from PNC Park is a place called the North Shore Tavern. Home of Steak on a Stone.
See, Toby's here for this too.
Yeah.
He wouldn't miss it.
They serve it to you on that cooking stone. You can get steak on a stone.
That's
Any
awesome.
kind of steak. Filet, New York strip. You can get
Oh.
surf and turf on a stone.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
get scallops or shrimp on the stone.
What kind of surf is it? Is it like shrimp,
norm-
salmon? What is it?
Well, you can get a whole bunch of different things.
Interesting. That's
You can get scallops, you can get shrimp, you can get crab, you can get lobster.
what?
They serve all these different things. They serve it on the stone. They bring it out to you that way, so it's sizzling when it comes out.
That is awesome.
And everything they
And
have
this was
is
called
amazing.
North
North
Tavern?
Shore Tavern.
North Shore Tavern.
So if you want to stay within close proximity to the ballpark,
And this is the Pirates ballpark.
yes,
Okay.
this is your best option.
All right.
Diagonally across the street is a place called Soho. It's a bar. Oh, and the Moscow Mules there are killer.
Going right for the mules. I love it.
Oh, yeah. I was ordering it before I sat.
No messing around.
Their sandwiches are top notch. They come out, they're big, they're loaded, they're flavorful. And of course, it's Pittsburgh. So they serve a pierogi platter that's amazing.
Love some pierogies.
Pierogies are huge in Pittsburgh. You know, the way Milwaukee has the brat race.
Oh, yeah.
In Pittsburgh, it's the pierogi race.
Hey.
And if I may, take just a second here.
Okay. Uh-oh. Are we getting a prop?
Yes, we are.
All right.
Because, yes, I have been to the pierogi races, and yes, that's my proof.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, these people stand up like they're at Belmont watching a race for these pierogi races. They're cheering them on. It's amazing. I love the atmosphere in that park.
That's awesome. Oh, there we go.
Excuse me. I didn't hit mute in time. If you want to eat at the park, Manny Sangian, Manny's place. Manny occasionally comes in.
Interesting.
I missed him by a day, and I'm still angry about that. The food there is good. The barbecue is amazing. The mac and cheese is excellent. I don't eat as much in the ballpark when I have so many great places outside the park.
Of course. That makes sense.
But Manny's is always worth it.
All right.
Now, if you want to travel a little in Pittsburgh, you want to drive a few miles, go down to Carson Street, south side. You will find a veritable smorgasbord. Of course, the original Primanti Brothers is there.
Ooh.
And I know Scott knew about Primanti Brothers,
Yes.
but to go to the original is amazing. Less than a block away, there's a place called Fatheads.
Fatheads.
Not only do they have some of the best craft beers on tap, but they're also known for a menu item called the Artery Plugger.
Oh no.
You do not go wrong with that.
The Artery Plugger. It feels like you
If
could
you're
go
a-
very wrong with an artery plugger.
Well, yeah. You bring a defib, you're all right.
All right, there we go.
And also on Carson Street is a cool little place called the Beehive Cafe.
Ooh.
They serve real good. They serve their own roasts of coffee.
Mm.
Brew them. They do them right there. They're excellent. They have really good desserts, and I don't know if they still do, but the last time I was in there, they had pinball machines in the back.
Oh, my
It's a
buddy Richie
fun-
loves pinball.
It's a fun place. That covers Pittsburgh.
Mm.
Cleveland. You have a couple of really interesting choices right near the stadium. You have a place called Harry Buffalo. It's bar food, but they kick it up pretty good.
What's it called? Harry Buffalo?
Harry, Harry.
Interesting.
Not Harry is in a lot of hair.
Right.
And they're very, very good. Just down the road, the House of Blues serves a mean menu. A lot of Cajun-inspired stuff. And if you're lucky enough, you might catch a touring artist.
You know, there used to be a House of Blues in a now defunct casino in Atlantic City called Showboat, which was my favorite casino to play at. I was a big fan of their poker room. And they had a House of Blues in there that was pretty good too.
And like I said, you'd be amazed at the food.
That is pretty
I
surprising.
went to the House of Blues on a Sunday morning after a night game just because I was promised this. They have like a band doing it's more like a black church performance. It's called their gospel brunch.
Mm.
And their tagline is praise the Lord and pass the biscuits.
That's my kind of
It's
place.
100% Southern / Cajun driven, and it's a buffet.
Yummy.
It is out of this world. So whether you're religious or not, I recommend the House of Blues for that.
I'm in.
Okay. You want to leave the area a little bit. Less than a mile away is the West Side Market.
So we're still in the Pittsburgh area.
Cleveland.
Oh, we're in Cleveland. Okay, I missed the Cleveland
Yeah.
thing. Okay, got it.
Yeah, we started with Harry Buffalo.
Harry
went to the
Buffalo
House
was
of
Cleveland.
Blues.
Okay, yeah, I somehow I missed the transition to Cleveland. Okay, got it. So
the
Harry
West
Buffalo,
Side-
House of Blues.
The West Side Market has Steve's Gyros. I told you about
Oh
that.
yeah, you did. Those sounded awesome.
If you get there, they carve them right there. They're amazing. And people line up for them. If you happen to go after 12 o'clock and it's lunchtime,
You're cooked.
you're waiting a minimum 45 minutes.
Do they sell out every day? Like I know a lot of those places they have like an item that everyone likes. Do they just like sell until they're gone, or they pretty well always have stock?
They have stock. They bring a lot.
I bet they do.
They're roasting a lamb while that one's out there.
Mm.
They're outstanding. There's a place in there called Frank's Bratwurst, which is worth it as well.
Who doesn't love bratwurst? I mean, you have to be a heathen not to like bratwurst. I mean, come on now. Bratwurst
And if
is
you want to
awesome.
go, oh, absolutely. And if you want to go outside of the city, just go to a suburb called Brooklyn, Ohio.
Hey,
There's a place called Steve's Hot Dog Diner. They've been in the city for years, but that location burnt down. It's all they have left, excuse me, is the Brooklyn location. It's not far. It's not a bad ride.
Ohio, where you can go to Brooklyn and Miami in the same day.
Yeah. And if you want pancakes, you will get an order of pancakes. It'll cost you about $4, but they fall off the plate. They're so big. Everything there is good. It's a 24-hour diner, so you get your share of cast of characters.
Is it still 24 hours now in the post-COVID years?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's awesome.
And the food is inexpensive and amazing. Okay, one more city real quick.
Okay. What do we got?
The hot dog place is Steve's Hot Dog Diner in Brooklyn, Ohio.
Brooklyn, Ohio. Steve's Hot Dog Diner.
It is amazing, to answer that question.
Yes.
If you ever decide to go up to Toronto, it's a nice, fun trip. It's a great city, good people, amazing choices. Right outside of Skydome, or whatever it's called now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember these.
Yeah, you know.
There's a little place called Le Grill. It's a stand, but they make some really good stuff. If you want to stay right in the area, right next to Skydome is Scotiabank Arena, where the Raptors and the Toronto Maple Leafs play.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they're playing or not, there's a bar in there called Real Sports Bar and Grill. It's 2 stories high.
Okay.
Every booth has its own television,
Mm.
which you control.
Okay.
So you can watch whatever game you want, and they show everything. If you want to watch what everyone at the bar is watching, they have a TV about like 1,000 feet high.
Oh, jeez.
Food is not cheap. You're paying for that atmosphere, but the food is all good. I've never had a bad meal there. You want to venture a mile or so down the road, Toronto's an easy city to walk despite the traffic. It's an easy city to take the subway in. You won't have to walk that far till you hit a Harvey's. Now, why would I be putting a fast food restaurant in
Just
this
gonna
thing
ask that.
in a chain yet? Because the laws for beef are different than they are here. The beef you're getting is amazing. Excuse me. You will get a fast food burger like you've never had before. The beef is delicious. The service is good. The menu's fun. And try the poutine. You won't regret it. One more, if you want to go about a mile down the road from there, is a place called Eastside Mario's. Yeah, you guessed
Mario.
it. It's an Italian place. The pizza's good. The pasta's really good. And they have different all-you-can-eat specials that when I go, the joke's on them. There we go. That's 3
There we go.
cities.
All right. Let's rank these babies. What do we got?
Oh, man. North Shore Tavern.
That sounded like the best one. That was the one with the surf and turf, right? With the scallops
Yeah.
and the
Yeah. And everything served on the cooking stone.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
They are incredible. Steve's Euros in Cleveland. That's less than a mile away from the excuse me, the ballpark, the West Side Market.
Mm.
More than worth it. Do not go at lunchtime. Go a little earlier for your Euro.
What about later?
Or later, after 3.
Yeah.
You got a good shot at not waiting more than like 5 minutes.
Okay.
That's number 2. Soho in Pittsburgh. Place that serves the amazing stacked sandwiches and the great pierogies is number 3, plus Moscow Mule. Need I say more?
Hey, love me a mule.
Number 4, Steve's Hot Dog Diner, Brooklyn, Ohio. Yeah, their food is all good. Their dogs, I'll get the 3-plate of chili dogs. Oh,
sounds awesome.
Amazing. And like I said, for $4 or $5, you get a stack of 3 pancakes that fill the entire plate and hang off a little bit. Number 5.
Mm-hmm.
The Real Sports Bar and Grill in Toronto.
I was gonna go with Manny's from the way you described it.
Manny's is very good. The Real Sports, though, is a great experience. You can be watching a game on a screen that wouldn't fit in your house with a couple hundred of your friends, or sit at your own table and watch whatever sporting event you want. Food is pricey but good. The atmosphere is great. And yes, I regret leaving Manny's out.
Manny.
I regret leaving Fatheads out. My top 5 could have been all Pittsburgh places.
Yeah, it sounded good. Oh, man. So there you have it, Scott. You got your homework for you. See how many of those places you could hit.
Oh, I was helped by a friend out of Fatheads one night. That's another story, but I decided to try a number of their beers.
I thought
I was crashing at his house, so it was okay.
It's all right. Yes.
Wow.
That's funny.
So that was fun.
No, that was good stuff. Good job.
I had most of them on the top of my head yesterday, but I expanded it a little bit.
There you go. All right. Well, there we have it. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Thursday night football is around the corner. We got to talk that. Got some baseball hot stove stuff. News you can use. That's what's on tap the rest of the way. Back after this, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. That's 800-370-2460.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then, if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. That's 800-649-8617.
All right. Thursday night football. Week 10 already. Unbelievable.
That hot dog place does sound awesome because it is.
It is, right?
Hey, yeah, we have our first game of the week to pick, too.
All right.
Ugh.
Let's take a look. What do we got?
The last time these two teams played, it was an exciting game.
Yes.
Falcons at the Panthers. The Falcons won a thriller. I'm not sure if that went to overtime.
Well, the thing about the Falcons and the Panthers, both teams are so bad at stopping everybody that they end up scoring a lot of points. So, like, this one's probably going to be high scoring again, I would assume.
Do you have the over-under on
That's
it?
what I'm pulling up right now. I'm going to guess, before I look at it, I'm going to guess it's somewhere around 47. That's going to be my guess. Let's see. 41.5. Wow.
Oh, take the over.
Oh, I'm getting the, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Easily the over. I'm going to go.
Neither of these teams play defense.
I'm going the over. I'm going to do it. I actually feel good about this. Taking a look at this. I'm going the over, and I'm going the Falcons to win on the money line. So I'm going to do a parlay here. I'm going to go the over on the Falcons and the money line on the Falcons. I'm getting plus 210 on my money for that. And I feel good about that. Lock it in.
I'm in on that.
Let's do it.
That's good.
Yeah, let's do it. There's
That's
no
good.
way.
So you got.
Yeah, I got the over and the money line. I got
So
Atlanta.
you got the Falcons
Yes.
tonight.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Okay. All right.
What about you?
No, same.
You going Falcons too?
Yeah, I had them already. So,
All right.
and yeah, I'm with you on the bet too. I think I'm all over that.
Looking at some player props here. Deonta Foreman over under is set at 55.5.
The over under for the game was what?
41.5.
41.5. That's low.
That's really low. It really is. That's why I like that bet. Kyle Pitts, the all-star tight end for Atlanta, only set to 35.5. Take the over on that.
He hasn't been catching as many passes.
No, that's true. And in fact, to that point, if you wanted to do a different bet, the over-under on receptions in this game for him is 3.5, and you actually get plus money for taking the over. I might go with it because he's too good. He's too good to be that uninvolved. He's gonna have a breakout game. If you remember, he finished the season fast last year too. He didn't have as good a first couple of weeks, and then by about this time, maybe a week or so earlier, he really started hitting his stride, and he finished with like pretty good numbers. So I'm liking that. If you want to do a little player prop bet, I think you can go with Kyle Pitts on either over 35.5 yards or over 3.5 receptions. I think both are likely. The yards probably more so. So I would go with that one. You don't get the positive money, but I think it's a likely outcome.
This could be a good get well game for him too, because he has not played well.
No, he's not played well.
But he hasn't really had a lot of opportunities either, as many as.
And who's their quarterback?
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, that's why. He's just okay. He's the Jock Vaughn of NFL quarterbacks.
Oh, I was waiting for that.
All right, so we got Carolina for the win. Okay, that's what we're hearing in the chats anyway.
I'm not in love with Marcus Mariota, but I like Walker even less.
Yeah, not a good one. The one thing about this game is it feels like a game that, if we're right about both teams putting up points, could be like a lousy game and also a very entertaining game for the masses all at the same time. Like it could be technically not good football, but exciting because there's going to be stuff happening and the game might be close. So it might be one of those games where, like, you know, people end up talking about it because a lot happened, even if the game wasn't really pretty.
No, some of the stuff happening might be cringeworthy.
Yes, exactly.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, Foreman's a good one too. That was another bet that I had. So that's a good one. Good interaction from the audience here.
Was that a prop?
Yeah, that was a prop.
That you had?
Well, it was one
was
it was one I considered. Foreman was I believe 55.5 was the over under for him in this game in receiving yards.
Oh, he's been doing well.
Yeah, he's been doing very well
enough to. Yeah. What's the money on that?
That was like minus. All these prop bets for the most part are minus money, unfortunately, which I don't really understand. Like, prop bets with individual players are like hard to hit. You would think they would pay off better. But this one is on Foreman, 55.5. The over is minus 125. The under is minus 105.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so it's not really worth it from a value standpoint. But if you want to go crazy, you could go like Ian Thomas, who's like the fifth receiver. Only set it to 10.5. You get plus 130 if you tried to gamble. There you go.
He makes a nice catch, and you're good.
For his part, Marcus Mariota, his over-unders, passing 155.5, rushing 30.5, touchdown passes, half a touchdown, passing attempts 23.5, and pass completions 14.5. The only one you get positive money on here is the pass completions. If you're looking at the overs, it's plus 100 to go over 14.5 completions. If you don't think he's going to throw a touchdown pass, you can get plus 190. So there you have it.
I think he can run over 30 yards
I do.
on any day.
Yeah, I do too. You're going to get minus 115 on that, which isn't terrible. So there you have it.
Oh, interesting stuff. We have our first game in Berlin Sunday morning.
Hey, talk about bratwurst. Let's go, baby. There's got to be some
yeah.
bratwurst over there, right?
You get the best of the worst.
Oh, no, you're mean now. Oh, look at you. You've been hanging out with me way too long.
I think so.
I'll take the blame for that one.
Yes, they still are all in it in that division. It's a joke.
It's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
That is a bad division. It really
well,
is.
I do guarantee there'll be no wild card teams coming from that division.
Don't stretch too hard there, Rich.
I try not to.
Oh, man. Yeah, so Berlin, yeah. That's a cool city. I could see that being a real football happy city. Like more so than even London, which I know the NFL's been cultivating for years. But Berlin just has a feel of the type of place that would like American football.
Oh, yeah. And Germany's been a stronghold for American football since they had the World League.
Right.
5 of the 6 teams were there.
Yep. Yeah, so that's pretty good.
How seriously do you take the NFL's concussion protocol? I'm not going to get into it. You know how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, as far as taking I think the league takes it, fairly seriously. I think it takes it maybe too seriously. But
well, we'll see how seriously they take it if Matthew Stafford plays. Concussion protocol is supposed to be 5 days.
And this would be what, 4?
Well, announced Wednesday, so you got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And then the first
Sunday should be the 5th day.
Right.
But if he plays, I don't take it very seriously.
I hope he does play. I mean, that would be good. I like watching him play, so.
Yeah, who cares if he gets messed up? He doesn't play for my team.
Your guy's gonna play messed up too, it looks like.
I don't know. I'm hearing different things from different people. It's very much day by day. They're saying he didn't practice yesterday. He's not scheduled to be there today. I don't think he practices all week. But that's the same ligament that causes pitchers to undergo Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, the UCL ligament, of course. Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know. Do you risk it? You risk one game for something possibly worse.
I'm always about getting the guys in and playing them. So because the truth is I didn't used to be that way. But the truth is, I've seen for too many years now, the thought process, the prevailing wisdom for a long time now has been exactly what you just said. Why risk it for one game? Well, the problem is, in more cases than not, they end up getting hurt again anyway. And there's no conclusive evidence that caution versus better safe than sorry ever works. In fact, I've seen the Colts lose a lot of playoff games because they were better safe than sorry by resting people when they were 14-1 or whatever.
But that was resting them. That had nothing to do with an injury.
But you're still not playing. So I would rather risk, quote unquote, in air quotes, further injury when a guy can play. It's difference between being hurt and injured. So to me, I would rather risk that and keep my momentum, keep my flow, than risk the loss of flow by having him miss a game or two. That's just, at this point, I think in football, that's more of a danger than aggravating injuries.
I'd rather have him miss one now than miss 2 in December.
Well, I guess my point is, I don't think there's been enough examples of that happening to make that risk less.
With this injury, a little different. All injuries aren't created equal.
If he was a pitcher, I would probably agree with you.
He throws a football, and he likes to throw it far.
Yeah, but a football throwing motion is much more ergonomically natural than a pitching motion. A lot more. Because it's not all your elbow, it's mostly your shoulder and your triceps.
Yeah.
Pitching is like by its nature, like not natural.
Now, if you're the Rams and you want to be safe with Stafford, do you consider sitting him if Kyler Murray can't go? Because he's got a hamstring issue. Given how much he runs, that could have some impact.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because strategically at that point, it's a matter of can my backup beat their backup?
How much faith do you have in John Wolford?
None.
I mean, Stafford usually plays a full schedule.
Right. I've never heard of John Wolford. To quote the great Charles Barkley, I don't know anything about Angola, but Angola's in trouble. I don't know anything about John Wolford, but if he's your quarterback, the Rams are in trouble. I'll just put it that way. To quote
I
Charles
actually
Barkley.
feel better if I'm Buffalo with Case Keenum.
Yes, so Keenum,
who's at least been there before.
He's a proven NFL commodity. He's been a spot starter at times. Remember, he took the Vikings to the playoffs and played very well a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah. If my backup was Case Keenum or it was Colt McCoy or Matt Barkley or someone else that's like proven themselves,
Barkley's their third quarterback here.
He is in Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If one of those guys, someone like that was my backup, Ryan Fitzpatrick, anyone like that, then I think I'll go with it. Especially if definitely if Murray's down. I don't know if he's playing. Because in the Rams case, unlike the Bills, they need every win they can get right now. There is no tomorrow. So I'm selling out to get this win, particularly since it's a division game. So that's like I'm selling out. But if Murray doesn't play, you know what? The more I think about it, given the perilness of where they are in their schedule and what they've done so far this year, and it's a division, I think I'm going with Stafford no matter what.
Having said that, if this was a division game, I'm going with Josh Allen.
Right.
I don't care if his elbow's falling off.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes a big difference. And also, if the Rams
this isn't even a conference game, so it doesn't bother me.
It's not as big a deal. That's true. If this was I'm just worried about losing the mojo. But if this was like if the Rams were 6-2,
they don't have a lot of mojo to lose right now.
Well, even more important to get it back.
And then you've got a written in thing that we had to use Case Keenum. If they blow the game with Allen, they could be in bigger trouble.
If the Rams were 6-2, I would probably say, all right, the hell with it. Let's see what we can do. But they need to win, desperately. So it's a division game. They're under 500. They need to win. I think I'm rolling with Stafford.
And another division loss kills the Cardinals because the Seahawks have already swept them.
Right, exactly. So you have a chance to bury a nominal threat. Yeah, no, there's too much at stake here. If Stafford can at all go and he's cleared to go, yeah, I'm going with Stafford given the circumstances.
If he's not cleared to go, I don't play him.
Well, I don't think the team has the option to.
Obviously.
Yeah, that they can't do that. They're not really allowed. But yeah, I mean, I would be politicking everything I could to get him cleared to play. I'm not above paying a bribe for a game like this.
Believe me, the NFL's not above taking them.
Doc, you want some season tickets? I got you. Let's make a deal here, huh? He's good, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know. But the interesting slate. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll go some baseball hot stove. We got news you can use. That's what's on tap the rest of the way. Back after this, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. That's 800-741-9557. If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. That's 800-826-5884.
All right, so baseball hot stove. Jacob DeGrom, I've heard a number of things about him maybe going, maybe staying. Lot of innuendo, nothing affirmative yet. Here's the one thing. If I'm the Mets, I'm matching any offer money-wise. I'm not matching any duration. So if there's a crazy owner out there, thinking of Arnie Moreno, I'm thinking of the Dodgers. If there's someone out there that's going to give this guy, forget the money for a second, a 5 to 7 year contract, and let's just assume it's somewhere between $25 and $40 million. So that's probably a safe bet. If someone offers, like, say, a 6 year, $25 million a year contract, I'm not matching that. I'm going to call DeGrom's agent and say, look, I can't do that length, but what I can do is I could pay you $42 million for 3 years. How about that? Like, because I'll pay him more than the market on a shorter deal. I'm not going long. If he wants long-term security like that, let's get creative. Let's say, okay, we have Bobby Bonilla Day. We could have Jacob DeGrom Day in a few years. That's fine. I'm down with that. Like, we'll get the bobbleheads out. It'll be a punchline to jokes. You can get paid when you're 70. It's great. Let's do it.
I liked some of the creative stuff you came up with yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, look, the 3 year, let's say you do a 3 year, $50 million a year deal. And if you hit performance metrics cumulatively, not in any given season, but cumulatively over the 3 years, it's an automatic vesting continuation to a fourth year. So it's the same $50 million for the fourth year. And if you don't hit those metrics, the team has, it becomes a team option. And I think that's reasonable.
Agreed.
Or if he wants long-term security, Ted Williams did this. This is long-standing in baseball. We know Bobby Bonilla just made that joke. I mean, you can defer payments for a number of years and, basically get what amounts to an annuity or a short-term pension if you want to do that. Like, there's ways to get that length without hamstringing the organization long-term. So if he's willing to play ball, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of teams that go 5, 6, 7 years for the same reasons the Mets will likely be hesitant to. Everyone has the same information. We know his injury history, we know his age, so, but if there is a crazy team out there, I'm not just giving up. I'm not going to give in either. I'm going to try to come to some creative solution. I want to keep this guy in Met colors for his whole career. This guy's a homegrown guy. He's wickedly popular. He's scary good when he's healthy. Like, I don't want to lose this guy, but I'm not going to.
No, not at all.
I'm not going to sign something dumb and stupid either. I'll overpay, but I'm not overpaying and overextending.
The annuity contract is a thing that's been around forever, and it wrecked a lot of old ABA players.
Yes.
Who lost a lot of their money.
Yes.
I don't think you'll have that problem with Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
They'll get their money.
They'll get their money.
What you were saying yesterday, to tilt the subject a little bit, at the meetings, at the GM meetings,
The winter
Farhan
meetings.
Zaidi, the president of baseball operations for the Giants, said, a direct quote, I don't think from a financial standpoint, there's nobody that would be out of our capability to kind of meet what we expect the contract demands will be.
Hmm.
So without mentioning a name, I think they're all in on Aaron Judge.
I agree.
You said it yesterday.
Yeah. I said that yesterday. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot that makes sense there. He's from that area. With that quote, it's clear that they're financially committed to pursuing something like that. They need a face of the franchise. They've had some recent success. They're not a downtrodden, inept organization. They're just on a down cycle right now. They need offense in that lineup in a big way. That porch is going to be very attractive to Judge. Bond's hit 1 million home runs out there for that reason, in right field there. I mean, there's just a lot there. I will say this, at the very minimum, I think the San Francisco threat drives up the price of retention for the Yankees. If they're going to keep him, they're going to pay an amount that no one else will bother paying.
True.
And man, it's all could have been avoided if they weren't idiots in the preseason.
Yes.
That would just be brilliant. Because I'll tell you what, this Yankee lineup without Aaron Judge,
it's anemic.
Really not good. I mean, unless you get like a throwback season from Stanton, that's like the only hope.
If Stanton's not healthy, that offense is anemic.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, what are you going to get? You're going to get Gleyber Torres seemed to have been a one-hit wonder his rookie year. And Duhar, I don't even know if he's still there anymore, but he didn't pan out. Like LeMahieu's been hurt a lot. He's a good player, but he's not going to like anchor a lineup. I mean, if Stanton goes down, you're screwed. And newsflash, Stanton goes down. Why? Because I've seen this movie before. I got my crystal ball back out.
Yeah. Something a little interesting. The Padres aren't going after a lot of free agents.
Well, they just spent $1 billion.
Considering what they just did, I don't think they really need to. I would get Darvish under contract. I know they want to get him done with an extension. There's another pitcher they have there too.
Musgrove?
Yes. That they want to extend. What do you do about Soto? His agent wants to talk about redoing that contract and making it for longer. He's 24. Wouldn't you just take the chance?
To lock him in for a long term?
Yeah.
I would after what
lock him in for 10, 11 years. He'll be 35. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I know. In his case, I agree with you. If he wants to talk ball, let's talk ball. I mean, if I'm the Padres, we went and acquired this guy, paid a king's ransom and prospects for him. Of course, I have no intention of like not having him be there for the long term. He wants to be there. Yeah, let's get it done.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Boras is his guy, and Boras is a straight shooter.
Mm-hmm.
No, the other pitcher for San Diego was Blake Snell, and you get them both done.
Oh yeah, and you're speaking about Boras being a straight shooter. Oh, he's a straight shooter, all right. You know where he shoots? Straight to the moon. That's what he wants every time. I want the moon, baby.
Hey, when you got a client like that, you got the right to ask for it.
That's it.
And I don't think San Diego will have an issue with it because they kind of liked what they had this year. That postseason stuff at home was good for them.
Can you imagine all the money Scott Boras has made over the years?
Oh, my God.
I mean, every big contract he's had. I mean, he's got to be, if he's not, he's got to be damn close to being a billionaire himself. He's got to be.
He has to.
I mean, A-Rod twice. I mean, like every big contract, it feels like, is like has Boris's name on it.
Yeah, and there's no chump change there on his end.
No, he's charging whatever percentage he's charging.
Right. Something else interesting. Now that Trey Turner's got the video out there,
and
he's pretty much let every team know Dodgers could be looking for a new shortstop. I'm looking at the list of available free agents. You got Bogarts.
Sorry.
You got Correa. You got Dansby Swanson. Baseball-wise, Herrera's probably Correa is probably the most logical choice.
I would take
But
any one of those three guys on the Mets in a heartbeat.
given the Astros sign stealing thing and the feelings it left in LA, especially, is Correa the best fit? Dansby Swanson's a no drama guy.
He is.
I think he'd love to play with Freeman again.
I think the Braves would be silly to let him go.
Yeah, well, he's a free agent, so anything could happen.
Yep.
And Bogarts is still out there. So if you're looking for a shortstop, you got your choices.
I would take any one of those three and move any of them to third base, or you can move the guy they got there at short now, the Mets I'm talking about. I'm drawing a blank on his name. You can move him to third base too.
Your favorite player? Oh, no,
No, that's second base.
Yeah, he's the second baseman.
McNeil, yeah. Love Jeff McNeil.
You won't even mention his name.
My favorite player?
The player you refuse to mention there that's already there and playing that infield position.
Oh, well. Let's not go there. Come on. It's a Thursday. I'm in a good mood. Let's not ruin it. I already drank my coffee.
This afternoon's the deadline for teams to extend qualifying offers to their free agents. Any player accepting a qualifying offer is locked in for a 1-year, $19.65 million contract. Players rejecting the offer are free agents. Dodgers are looking at making a qualifying offer to Tyler Anderson. The Rangers are looking at Martin Perez. Given the lack of high-end starting pitching on the free agent market, would you make both of these moves if you were these respective teams? I think I would.
So it's Perez, and who was the first one?
Tyler Anderson, Dodgers.
Yeah.
I think he's a younger arm they need to keep.
Yeah, I was going to say the Dodgers, I don't know with them, because I think they need to keep him. But
yeah.
What do they need though? Like that's what's so confounding about the way they keep losing in these playoffs is like I can't really find something that they need that, but they're clearly missing an it factor.
Well, if Trey Turner leaves, they need a shortstop.
Right.
I don't see much else they do need.
Yeah.
Rangers are thinking about it for Martin Perez. No, don't think about it. Do it. Perez is a good, nice player.
I was shocked that Bruce Bochy came out of retirement at all, let alone to coach that organization. That's one of those teams. I know they had their little glory year run in the mid 2000s, like 2010, 2009, 11, around there. But short of that, that's another organization that's pretty consistently awful.
It is.
I mean, they've been in baseball now. They've been a franchise, 50 years or so? 45, 50 years? Mid 70s or something they came into being?
Yeah.
How many times have they been truly relevant? Yeah, A-Rod played there for a few years. They were awful that whole time. He put up godlike numbers, but they were terrible. I can't remember, other than that one little spurt with Mike Napoli and company, I can't remember the Rangers ever being good.
No, I'm the same.
They've been terrible forever.
Exactly the same. I couldn't agree with you more. One guy not receiving a qualifying offer, Mitch Haniger, outfielder for the Mariners. He had a big year in 21, real big, but he only played, I think it was 57 games last year due to injuries. How's that for an under-the-radar guy you signed to a 1 to 2 year prove-it-to-us deal? And it might be money well spent.
I would say so.
It was very good in 21. But then again, what do I know?
Just some guy on the radio.
Yeah, blabbing away.
All right. Let's hit one more break. We'll come back and we'll wrap it up with a few minutes of news you can use. Back after this, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number: 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent, pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need? It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
All right, we're back. Time to wrap it up with news you can use. What do we got today?
Okay, the Raiders released former first-round pick safety Jonathan Abram.
Yep.
Early yesterday.
Mhm.
By last night, he was picked up and signed by the Green Bay Packers. How bad is that when you're signing Raiders rejects?
Yeah, can they move that guy over to a receiver? Can he play receiver?
See what kind of hands he's got. It can't hurt you. Texas Rangers acquired right-hander Jake Odorizzi from the Braves. Good move?
I think so. I mean, Odorizzi's a pretty good player. He's a good pitcher. I think upgrades their staff a little bit, gives them some depth. I think it's a good move, yeah.
And if you got to start building, that's the best place to do it with pitching. Brett Favre-backed drug companies are tied into the welfare fraud scheme.
Ooh.
I know you probably do not want to talk about this anymore, but it's still there. This is from a Sports Illustrated article. They called it a bombshell report regarding Favre's involvement in an ongoing welfare fraud investigation.
Well, here's the thing about this. It makes sense that there are larger entities with probably more financial incentive at stake that are kind of hiding in the swamp behind the scenes, so to speak, and using Favre as the public fall guy face, you know.
Well, he had a part.
I'm not saying he didn't, but
he's not an innocent guy here.
I never said he was.
Taking a fall.
I never said he was, but I believe that it just never made sense on its surface that Brett Favre would be the judge, jury, and executioner in something so bizarre like this without others behind him probably fronting a lot of the money and probably benefiting a lot from the profits. So it makes sense, I guess, is what I'm saying, is it now that this is coming to light, that makes sense to me. It makes it a more like complete story, because it didn't make sense. Like, why would Favre do this on his own as a lone wolf move? It just didn't add up. And that was the part I knew it happened, but like that was the part that it always made me scratch my head. So this makes a lot of sense.
The two companies are Previsus and Presol MD, same founder, but they received over $2 million in state welfare funds from the Mississippi government, and that's part of the civil lawsuit.
Right.
Van Landingham, the founder, was also discovered to have substantial debts over the past few years. He claims he had no idea it was welfare money, and he's always been an upstanding person when it comes to research. Really? You're really going to try to sell me that?
Look,
If you're upstanding when it comes to research, you suck at it.
yeah, that's pretty well. That's all there's to say about that.
California votes no on allowing sports betting.
Well, Rich, because the problem with sports betting is there's a good chance the person betting the game is sitting there with an iced coffee with one of those heathen-like plastic straws. Oh no, we can't have that. Friggin' communists. Bunch of nutcases over there.
They must not care how much money they're giving up on this.
Well, no, because they'll just raise the taxes to 80%.
Their economy
they'll just raise the taxes to 80%.
Their economy is amazing.
Yeah, they'll raise the taxes to 80% and then say, well, why is everyone moving? Well, because, it cost me $3 million to buy a shoebox. That's why I moved. Hello.
Or they're staying because they can't sell those beach homes now.
Yeah, because there's no one to buy them.
Way too much money for.
I know. I can't bet on sports. Can I bet my house on red or black at the casino? I can afford to move then.
Yeah.
Second mortgage, baby. Or I go buy a house.
Whether you win or lose.
That's right. All right, one more.
Good. We'll end with this rule. Example 10,176, why the Washington Commanders are a disgrace. The DOJ said they would have their statement out as early as today, no later than tomorrow. Well, the Commanders are doing some work in advance of release of that statement by saying one of our players got shot. You think the DOJ would have something else to do, like keeping our streets safe?
No.
First of all, that's not their job. And Brian Robinson was the guy who got shot, and his agent called them out for using him as a political pawn.
Good job by the agent.
Organization is a joke.
Something in the air in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
It's called commies. Everywhere.
If you get a chance, there's a great article on Real GM. There it has one of the best headlines I've ever seen in my life. The Nets are a blob of cultural anxieties. Yes, awesome. They are.
Good job.
And that's news you can use.
Excellent. And that does it for the show tomorrow. For today, we'll be back tomorrow, 10 to noon. Rick Tittle's next. See you then. It's the Gary Ayd Show here on the Cape.